This week the Bears don't play, so those normal fears fade away. Cause I know I won't be sad, cause we can't lose. It only happens once a year, and the season's week is finally here. So you can find me RALAXing with a beer. I've gone through all these heart attacks with each strip sack. But last week they won, so I'm riding high, and now we're on that bye. Can't stand to watch another loss, wishing I could call the shots and be the boss. But this week I won't cry, we can't lose or tie, cause we're on that bye. They finally won another one, and holy hell it wasn't our division. And this week I won't cry, we can't lose or tie, cause we're on that bye. I believe that they can win out this season if they leave those screens behind. Bye, bye, bye. Can't stand to watch another loss, wishing I could call the shots and be the boss. But this week I won't cry, we can't lose or tie, cause we're on that bye, bye, bye. The Bears.
That's great, isn't it? DJ Podcast. I asked Dave Swerski through TikTok if I can play one of his songs or his songs on my Bears podcast. I haven't done it yet, but this is the first one I did. It's Dave, and then his last name Swerski. I hope I pronounced that right. SWERSKI. He does Bears parody songs. They're all pretty funny. I'll play another one towards the middle or the end here. We'll definitely go out with one of his songs just to kind of promote his fandom and his page. I love it. So anyways, DJ Podcast, talking Chicago Bears. It's a bye week, so what can we say? I personally, I've made the statement before. I kind of feel like Justin Fields should be out, and I'm not a huge fan of Matt Eberflus. You could say that the Bears defense has kind of turned itself around from last year, so maybe he gets another chance next year as the Bears head coach. Because when you look at it last week in the Bears win, I believe it was a 12-10 win. It was a 12-10 win over the Vikings, where Joshua Dobbs threw like four or five interceptions. Backup quarterback for Minnesota. I believe Kirk Cousins is out for the whole entire year. Looking at the rest of the season, the Bears play the Lions again. They almost beat them last time, so maybe they get a win there. The Browns, I think their defense kind of handles the Bears. Cardinals might be a win. The Falcons might be a win. And the Packers, the Bears never beat the Packers. So we could always hope. But it always seems like the Packers show up to play against the Bears. Like Jordan Love will have a really good game. And he's been having good games recently. The Thanksgiving game, he looked really well. Man, he threw some really good plays. Was that versus Detroit as well? I mean, is Detroit the playoff team we all think they could be? They've been losing some games here recently. Let's see. They played the Saints, and they lost. They won 33-28. The Packers, they lost to the Packers 29-22. It was the Bears almost beat them 31-26. Maybe that's why I feel like the Detroit Lions haven't been playing all that well, because like the Bears came out. That was the first game Justin Fields came back. The Bears came out and just looked awesome during that game, and somehow they managed to lose that game. So that's kind of why I'm feeling like the Lions are kind of a little bit shaky. They play the Bears next, like I said, then the Broncos, then the Vikings. The Cowboys is probably the hardest team that they play next. So they end the season with the Vikings again. The the last game versus the Vikings. They could be a playoff team this year. Not saying they can't. But anyways, kind of going back to Bears football, I was watching the Broncos Houston game. A rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud. Just going out there really. I wanted to make sure I had his name right, so I took some time to look up. Yeah, CJ Stroud, 16 for 27, sacked 5 times. So the Denver Broncos defense is good. Actually, this was all around a pretty good defensive game. Houston Texans winning it with an interception at the end of the game there. Russell Wilson, 15 for 26, 1 touchdown, 186 yards. 3 interceptions. Anyways, when I think about the Bears' future, I just think about how some of these good rookie quarterbacks like CJ Stroud, CJ Stroud, 11 games into the season, he's got 19 touchdowns for 5 interceptions. He's around a 63% completion rating. Isn't bad. 3,266 yards. I just think about, what type of quarterback do you want on the Bears? Because I look at a player like him where it's just like CJ Stroud. And it's like, he looks good. He looks like a NFL quarterback. He's not running around trying to make fancy plays. He does run for first downs. It's a theme that I have talking about Justin Fields all the time. He's got bad ball protection. He had 2 fumbles in that game last week, and almost caused them to lose the game. I remember the second fumble was 2.5 minutes, down by 1. It's like, yeah, they won it. They got the field goal, 12 to 10, and it's just kind of like, boy, that game could have been a 10-9 loss if Minnesota just coaches that game a little bit better at the end. It's like, what are we looking at with the Bears? I mean, what do you want to see? What do you want to see? It's kind of a question I have. What do you want to see? Do you want to see Justin Fields back on the team? Do you want to see what's kind of the Chicago? It's do you want to see them tank for Caleb Williams? Do you want to see them stick it out with Justin Fields? It's kind of the big question that's on Chicago Bears' minds. We've seen a lot of great play from Justin Fields. Like I was talking last week, his athleticism, his just all out like athlete. Like his mentality, I think his mentality is good. His accuracy, I've seen it sometimes good. He's at 60% career throwing accuracy percentage. It's really hard to say. Like, my problem is really that this is year 4. Like, if I had to really break it down, with my problem with Justin Fields right now is it's year 4, and we need another step in improvement going into year 5 with Justin Fields. And it's like, are we going to see that? I think that's kind of the main question. Is what's the finale here? Like, are we going to see? We almost need him to take that next step in the next last 4 games here. We need to see what Justin Fields is all about in the next 4 games, and by the end of the season, if we don't we don't see like a clear decision and what direction this team is going, then we're just gonna have more problems next year. Like I said, personally, I want to see Eberflus gone. I especially if we're drafting a new quarterback. If we're drafting a new quarterback, I want to see Eberflus gone. If we're keeping Justin Fields, I think you can keep him around. But the reason why is something the Bears haven't quite done yet is have a new coach draft a new quarterback. Like, get them on the same page from day one, which is one of the problems with Justin Fields, I think, is they started out where Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace drafted him. And so it's kind of like you saw him. He's a rookie quarterback. They switched his footing around. Remember that whole debate? Why you mess around with Justin Fields' footing? They're trying to turn him into a pocket passer and stuff like that. So I think the only way that Eberflus keeps his job is he has to plead. Justin Fields wasn't my guy. That's what he's got to say. You know what? If I was making that draft, I would have went with Patrick Mahomes was in that draft. Deshaun Watson was in that draft with Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like where Matt Eberflus would have to go. He would have to say, well, I would have taken Deshaun Watson. I would have taken Patrick Mahomes. Well, hindsight 2020, yeah, you should have taken Patrick Mahomes instead of Mitchell Trubisky. That was actually the Trubisky thing. Yeah, so Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's last move was to draft Justin Fields. That's right. I'm sorry. I think I botched that at the beginning of it. So, but anyways, it's still, my point is that the only way Matt Eberflus saves his job is he goes, well, we need to draft the quarterback I like instead of the last regime's quarterback. That's the only way he saves the job. If he just simply says, oh, we did good enough, we won enough to save his job. I mean, if you go from a 3-win team last year to a 7-win team this year, I guess that's really a huge improvement. Maybe that saves his job, but ultimately, Ryan Poles has to save his job, right? And he has to say, look, we went with Eberflus as a placeholder. We went with the conservative guy. We thought he can change his culture around. But ultimately, he's a defensive. He's proven to be maybe a really good defensive coordinator. But he's not coaching the rest of this team. So then, what does Eberflus say? Well, Luke Getsy's my offensive coordinator. It's like, all right, I think ultimately the easier move is for Ryan Poles just to say, Eberflus, you're gone. Getsy, you're gone. We're gonna start over with the coaching staff. We're gonna go with Caleb Williams or one of the other quarterbacks in this draft, and go from there. Like kind of take the game from there. So basically, as far as Bears talk goes, what more can I say? I think the team to beat this year is the Eagles. If we're talking some other teams, I think you go with Eagles. 49ers look good. Do the Packers go on a run here? Once again, the Bears are looking at Jordan Love. Occasionally, he looks fantastic. it's really frustrating being a Bears fan. The Bengals with Joe Burrow. That's like I said last week. I think that's more of the model that the Bears need to go after. We need to get that quarterback. We got DJ Moore. We need to build the offensive line. It's like, let's just start over with Justin Fields. Because as of right now, I don't want to see Justin Fields signing some big like 2 or 3 year contract. Like, how many more years do you give him? How many? We've seen 4. And we see this again next year, or are we still saying, well, let's see what Justin Fields is all about? No. Like, the path of least resistance here is let's trade Justin Fields and draft a new quarterback next year. And I think we're going to wrap it up with another song from Dave Swerski. Because I think his song kind of matches my podcast, exactly what I was talking about. So here we're going to go with it.
For Caleb, or do we stick with QB1? It's been another crap season. So are we taking for Caleb? Hey, the Bears got big problems, and Eberflus sure can't solve them. A choice is on the horizon. So do we take it for Caleb? Hopes were so very high at the start of this year. Now we're at 1-5. I thought that Fields was the guy, still holding out hope, but with this coaching, oh my, our pulse, you must think it true that Claypool trade is a stain stuck to you. Now with picks 1 and 2, the clock is ticking, so what will you do? Oh, it's so sad to think about the hopes that the fan base had. So are we taking for Caleb, or do we stick with QB1? It's been another crap season. So do we take it for Caleb? Hey, the Bears got big problems, and Eberflus sure can't solve them. A choice is on the horizon. So do we take it for Caleb? You left us nowhere to go. The fans deserving so much more. You lose like this, you take away our hope. You've left us nowhere to go. The fans deserving so much more. You lose like this, you take away our hope. I think it's time that the whole coaching staff must go. So are we thinking more Caleb, or do we stick with QB1? It's been another crap season. So are we thinking for Caleb? Hey, the Bears got big problems, and Eberflus sure can't solve them. A choice is on the horizon. So do we take it for Caleb? Hey! So are we taking for Caleb?
There we are, Dave Swerski once again, DJ podcast. Unfortunately, my name is David James. Unfortunately, I think that the some of the fans have more talent than the players. Enjoy the podcast. That was, once again, Dave Swerski. Got permission for him to play his song. Bear down, and let's just hope for some good Bears football, especially, once again, going into next year. The Bears.